Live from the closet, it's Spooky Memphis.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming out this evening. So let me tell you a little story. Earlier today, I'm just doing the usual rounds. I'm in the closet. I'm out of the closet. The usual shenanigans. And I run into this little green guy called Ojama Lime, and he's just talking to me about how it's really hard for an Ojama to find work. He can't even find it in like the dark world or anywhere. And I'm there with him. We're just chatting it out, and I just tell him straight to his face. It's really hard to get a job when you don't wear a shirt and you don't wear pants. Okay, you're not exactly family friendly, or and so maybe you need to figure things out for yourself there. Hello everyone on YouTube, it's me, Spooky Memphis, back at you with the 100 days of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where every day for 100 days we're dealing with different decks every single day. Today is the 88th day of the 100 days, and it's also the last day of our GOAT format week, where we've been playing different decks in the 2005 ban list every day the past 6 days. Today's the last day, and we're taking a look at an Ojama deck, where we summon the Ojama monsters to our side of the field. We're trying to summon the king and play things like Ground Collapse, it's kind of a very trolly deck where we try to stop my opponent from having any monster zones. It's very potent when it goes off, and we'll see how it's going to go today. We have our combos and our wombos, and we're going to show off the what do's and what not do's as always. Summoning out Ojama monsters and some other, generic sort of GOAT format cards as well, and have a good time summoning out these silly little guys. So we have our deck today. We're gonna be going into EDO Pro and showing off how it works. And so as always, if you want the whole deck profile, it's at the end. And don't forget to hit up all the good buttons below to let us know that you enjoy seeing GOAT format and that you like Ojamas and stuff like that. So let's head into it. We got a match or two to do, and we'll show off exactly what this deck can do. Yeah. Alright everyone, it's time for the match to begin. The possibly last match of the GOAT format week. We're going to go second, which isn't technically ideal. I prefer to go first with this deck. We're losing cards in our hand, but that's not that big of a deal. Not at the moment anyway. So we'll see where this is going to go. I have some good cards on my hand and some not as good cards. So what we're going to do, we'll start with our Ground Collapse spell. This is a really useful card because I just play it and my opponent can't use these zones while it's on the field. Let's see. Let me think. I'm going to summon Rescue Cat. Normally this is a card we like to use at a point in the duel where, what will I say, if I had Polymerization be really good. But for right now, we're going to summon two monsters. They're going to activate Creature Swap so that I can take control of whatever monster my opponent has here. What is it? Okay, so it's Decoy. That's good for me, I guess. Let me draw another card. And for now, that will be it for our turn. It's a deck with a lot of steps in it, this one. It is going to take a minute to do everything we need to do. Unfortunately, I lost Freed, who's a really good monster in this deck, because basically we have cards like Return for the Different Dimensions, which is really useful in this deck, because I can return all my banished monsters and stuff. And okay, I'll save my other Rescue Cat for now, but let's go ahead and Ground Collapse again. That way we kind of make this into a 1 versus 1 sort of scenario, I guess. And let's attack my opponent and see what else they have. Emissary of the Afterlife. Level 3 or lower normal monster. Oh yeah, I get to get a card too. Okay, I'll get no Ojama. Why not? Okay, so this is an Exodia deck. Well, it's funny that this far into the GOAT week, this is actually the first time we've seen an Exodia deck, so that's kind of interesting. It's interesting that it's taking us that long to see one of these, but okay. Now, I just need to start getting more monsters. I would really like to see my polymerization spell. Or even better if I can get a dark monster in my graveyard. But for now, we're just going to keep attacking with this Dekoichi here. We really just need to keep attacking my opponent, because once I get some more monsters on the field, I should be able to start doing some damage to my opponent. Which is, that's what the benefit is of, I've gotten rid of all of his monster zones. And I mean, at any point, he could technically win the game. I'm not playing card destruction. That would probably be really good against an opponent like this if I had card destruction. But I don't think it matters too much. So we're just going to set a card here. And I have a feeling that anything I attack with my opponent is going to let him draw a card or something. Or morphing... Wait a minute. Do you want to discard your cards? Okay, that's interesting. Let me think about that. Okay, I'm going to activate Mystic Space Typhoon on one of these face-down cards. Just to see what happens. But why would you want to get rid of 3 of Exodia pieces? Oh, because you had the card to get them back to your hand. Okay. No, I don't think so, sir. I'm sorry, I have to say no to that. Oh, you had Monster Reincarnation too, okay. But I'm going to go ahead and activate my other Ground Collapse spell. This will cost me one of my zones, but now that I've done this, my opponent can't summon any monsters, which I know it's not a very nice thing to do, but it kind of fits into the theme of what Ojamas are about, which is to, well, in GOAT format anyways, to lock out the monster zones, so we'll see where it goes from here. And my opponent's got his Thunder Dragon, which is neat. Alright, King of the Swamp is good. But now I need... let's go ahead and use our King of the Swamp. I was really hoping to have that Rescue Cat still. Unfortunately, now I've used my Rescue Cats. But it's neither here nor there, I guess. Again, I'm not going to allow him to play that trap card if I can help it. Because I know if he gets those 3 cards back, that's really bad. So I'm just going to get Polymerization. Unfortunately, I don't have much damage at the moment. But if I could just draw into something... I have monsters for doing battle damage. I just haven't drawn any yet. So it's really going to depend on if he has a 3rd backup soldier. And if he can draw it. Because if he gets it, that could be the end of the duel right there. Because so long as these are in the graveyard, my opponent can't win the duel, as far as I'm aware. But this is how GOAT format Ojamas play. We're just trying to get rid of the monster zones. Let's see. Okay, I'll take a few more life points. Okay. That's fine for me, I guess. Alright, so now it's our turn again. Creature swap would have been good earlier, but not at the moment. So let's just keep attacking with the Koichi. I mean, I have it, so I might as well keep using it. And my opponent has... Okay, Jar of Greed. Another Jar of Greed. Alright. That's fair. See, the one thing about our deck is we don't do a lot of damage all in one turn. It does take us a bit of time to set monsters on the field. I just haven't drawn any monsters at the moment. So, okay, that helps a little bit. I would normally like Cyberstein earlier so I can summon a Ojama King. But this works too, I guess. At the very least, I can do a little bit more damage. Alright. Yeah, but this is, it's kind of like the battle of the 2 troll decks, if you think about it. Because my opponent's trying to win with Exodia. I'm trying to win with Ojamas. And I have an Ojama on the field, so I hope everyone understands this is still an Ojama deck, even though they're not doing a lot. We're playing their play style that the GOAT format allows. Now, if I could get my other Ojamas around, I do have Ojama Delta Hurricane, which is a really good card to just destroy all my opponent's cards. So, we'll see. Okay. Let's go ahead and just attack again. I mean, unless my opponent draws, again, a backup soldier trap card or something else, this should be enough. Just enough to win the duel here. So, that's, well, we'll see. Okay, no. It's not quite over yet, although that kind of helps me in a way. Because now I can flip up to Koichi next turn and draw another card. I guess we'll end our turn then. Okay. But yeah, this is how Ojamas play in GOAT format. I know it's kind of strange. And the level limit does hurt a little bit, but it's not too bad. It's just going to take an extra turn to do what we want to do. So it's flip up to Koichi, so I get to draw another card. Jinzo would have been really good if my opponent played more... Actually, I mean, that would prevent him from ever using... Let me think. Actually, yeah. Yeah, so here's what we're going to tribute to Koichi for Jinzo. Just so in the off chance that face down was a trap card, now my opponent can't play the trap card anymore. I think that's the smartest thing to do here. Because if he's relying on backup soldier to get his Exodia pieces back, then now he's not going to be able to do that. So, yeah, that ought to be the game right there. So, yeah, it's very much kind of underhanded tactics with Ojamas in GOAT format, but I'll be able to beat the Exodia player with it, so that worked. So, let's go into siding. Is there anything I need to change? Not really. I mean, I could change the deck up a little bit to make certain strategies more available to us, I guess. Let me think what I would actually want to put in here. That's a tricky one. What level is... Chaos Sorcerer is level 6, so I'm going to get Metamorphosis in my deck, so I can try that out. You know, just a little bit different here. Alright, so now it's the second duel. Alright, I really like this hand. I really do, because if I get Ground Collapse, it'd be perfect. Because I have Ojama Green, I have Rescue Cat, and I have Polymerization. This will let me summon Ojama King, and then I'll be able to start doing Ojama things. Okay. So, let's see. We'll start off with our Mystic Space Typhoon. This is possibly something he can chain, but even if it is, it's better to get rid of it. We'll activate our Pot of Greed spell. Alright. Now that makes things difficult for me. Because I have Cyberstein and I have Rescue Cat, so I have two methods of getting out my monster. So I'm thinking, you know what? Let's do it like this, because I have two different methods of making Ojama King. We'll summon black and yellow to the field. Actually, this is better because I get to do the Ojamas themselves. This works. So we're going to activate our Polymerization spell, and then I'll summon out Ojama King. When he's summoned, three of my opponent's... well, it's up to three. You can pick just one if you really wanted to. But that'll get rid of my opponent's zones. I'll play Snatch Steal to steal his monster so I can attack with it. And we'll see where it goes from here. If he has another one of this, though, he could attack it. So we'll see. We will see. Do I have any... I don't have any Dark Monsters in the grave at the moment. I could really use any Dark Monster in the grave right now. That would be great. We'll see. I really especially like to get Jinzo. Would be really good right now, I think. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, this is Ojama. We are definitely seeing exactly what the Ojamas do in GOAT format. Can't really complain too much. Just a matter of, like, we have what we have and we're doing what we're doing. So let's set Solemn Judgment for later. And yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to attack with the Emissary again. This is definitely going to be something that draws from another card, because I think that's most of my opponent's deck here. In main phase 2, let me double check some. Yes, so we're going to summon Cyberstein. And we're going to use his ability to pay 5,000 life points. So now I can summon a second Ojama King. There is a card you can play in this deck, Shield and Sword, that does allow Ojama King to become 3,000 attack points. It's very risky considering, you know, Mirror Force and stuff exists, but at the same time it can be useful. Okay, so now we've stopped my opponent from having any monster zones. But they still have, you know, here's the thing. They still have the potential to just play the Exodia pieces. So at any point, this duel could be just over. It could be over right now, for all I know. Okay. Because, yeah, he can't play any monsters, so all he can play are spell trap cards. I really don't want to negate that, but I can't wait 3 turns. I can't really afford to wait. I normally wouldn't play that here, but I kind of have to. Oh. Okay, that's bad. Are you going to attack your own emissary? That's probably what he's going to do, yeah. Alright. Well, that's fair. So, I mean, we both get cards, which is cool, but at the same time, this is possibly going to be the end of the duel. I have a feeling he's going to have... Yeah, there they are. Okay. Alright, well, that's fair. You got to do your Exodia. So now that we know that's going to be an issue, let me think. Let's take maybe Metamorphosis was the wrong call. Let's put in the Shield and Sword spell. Actually, why not? Let's just do that instead. Why not? Okay. So let's go first again and see if we can win this duel. All right. It's a tricky opponent. If my opponent was playing a more, well, if they were playing a more straightforward deck, they'd have things that could just get rid of my Ojamas. But at the same time, this opponent's a bit tricky because all they're trying to do is draw cards, and I don't really have anything to stop that. So we'll activate Polymerization, and once again summon out the Ojama King, like so, and that'll get rid of my opponent's other zone. So unless they get their Book of Moon, that should be good. And I'll just... should I use the King of the Sword? I kind of want to save this just in case. Just in case I need something to attack my opponent. This would be good. Actually, that's probably something that Memphis could have put in my extra deck. You know? Some other targets for Cyberstein. So I'd have the option to actually attack my opponent. But, you know, I guess he didn't think of that. Well, that's his mistake. I would say you should definitely put, let me think, just generic monsters that are good to put in the extra. Master of Oz, maybe. Then again, that's a bit risky. Probably smaller fusions would be good in the extra deck with this deck for Cyberstein. Things like Dark Balther and Ryu Senshi probably would be good. That way you can, you know, you can attack your opponent and stuff. Okay. Well, the Ring of Destruction happened, so that's not good. I still have Creature Swap, which is good, though, so if I can just draw any monster, it would be fine. Although, stealing Emissary of the Afterlife is kind of a bad idea, considering that if it leaves the field, my opponent will get another card. Alright. Okay. You got your Graceful Charity again. That's fine, I suppose. I mean, I have the same card, so I'll use that when it's my turn. Let's see. But yeah, this is just a tricky opponent for it. Like I said, anything more... Wait. Oh, that'll put you in defense mode. Okay, so now I don't really have to worry about that monster. I don't have any light... I don't have enough darks in the grave. That's what Cyberstein's really for. Other than summoning out my Ojama King, it's really just good for getting Chaos Sorcerer too. My goodness. I need more monsters. Come on. Where are my other monster cards? Okay, so Emissary's stuck in defense. But this is either Dekoichi... Okay, if it's not Dekoichi... Oh, this must be... Maybe it's Morphing Jar, actually. I have a feeling that other face down, this might be Morphing Jar, and that's why he hasn't flipped it face up yet. That, well, let me think. Okay, it was to Koichi after all. Okay, I'm surprised they didn't flip it last turn, but okay. I was thinking it was Morphing Jar, because, well, those a couple reasons. Let's see. Because see, Memphis, now this is where that would have been good if I had another copy of that. Let me think. I mean, I could summon Cyberstein, and I can destroy some of my opponent's monsters, but not a lot of them. Not really. I mean, I can destroy the Emissary, but I really don't want to. Oh. Okay, that's fair. Actually, that helps me. Thank you. I'm going to banish Cyberstein and my Ojama King. Actually, no. We'll banish Ojama Green, I guess. It doesn't really matter who. But I can summon out Chaos Sorcerer, and once per turn, he can't stop this. I can just banish the Emissary, so its effect won't activate. Alright, that works. This only works on face-up monsters, but it's still going to be useful just to stop things like Emissary and the like. So, I don't know. This whole duel's on a timer. We'll see. We will see. I do kind of wish that we had included card destruction in this deck, but you can't really know. This whole week we've been playing GOAT format decks, and this is the first time we're seeing someone play Exodia, so it's something we just didn't have, we couldn't have prepared for that too much. Couldn't have prepared for it too much. Let me think. What's a card I could really... The Soul of Purity and Light would be great. We'll see. Let's see. This is a dark... Okay, actually, this works. So, what we're going to do... We're going to activate Chaos Sorcerer's effect to remove a Koichi from the field. I really need to get another monster is the problem right now. But I'm going to go ahead and Tribute Summon Jinzo, so my opponent can't use their trap cards. And then I'm going to banish a couple more monsters to summon a second Chaos Sorcerer. And I'll have him also banish my opponent's monster. That'll work. I do have one monster in my deck that can be really useful right now. I just don't know if I'll draw it in time. It's called Mucus Yoke. And it's a monster that can attack directly. And it'll get stronger every time it attacks. So if I can draw that card, it would be really, really good. But now that I've stopped my opponent's traps, that's going to slow them down a little bit. Not too terribly much, but it should be enough, hopefully. Unfortunately, I've drawn my own trap card I can't use, so that's not as good, but we'll see. It's all going to depend. He has 22 cards, and at any point, it could be Exodia. Because the minute it's Exodia, that's the end of the duel right there. But the only set, unless there's more Book of Moon, should be fine. Let me think. See, Freed is normally a monster I would use to remove my Ojamas from play in order to do stuff, but unfortunately, my opponent has to have... Well, actually, no, I could destroy... If I get my return for the different dimensions, maybe. It's all going to depend on what we draw into, but there is a potential there. There is a potential there to do some stuff that's cool. Alright, what do we have? Another ground collapse? Why not? I might as well just stop my opponent from having any monsters. Not that I can attack with anything at the moment, but once I'm able to, we'll see. We'll see. Just a waiting game at this point, and that's really unfortunate. But yeah, now that I've stopped all of his traps and all of his monsters, like, that's pretty good in of itself. So let's deck thin ourselves a little bit with our reinforcement of the army. We'll get our other Freed, not that I can use him at the moment, but we have him. And we'll just, we have to wait, unfortunately. I'm not drawing the cards I need just yet. But like I said, if I ever turn from the different dimension, that doesn't hurt me that much, really, but thank you. Yeah, but if I get return for the different dimension, I can revive my banished Ojamas. If I can do... I'll have to remove Jinzo, but I can do that with Freed here. You know, banish 2 Ojamas, get rid of Jinzo, and then I'll use return to get back... oh, wait, no. Okay, it'll take some doing, but it is doable. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Rescue Cat. I mean, it's level 4, unfortunately. Where's my mucus yoke? I really need it right now. I should have put in my other copy so I'd have it. I need a monster I can summon and attack with. Until I do that, there's nothing I can do. I'm just hoping my opponent's got that last piece. Because I assume they have most of the pieces already. We have to hope that we can just draw into something that can attack. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, well... Darn. I guess we just had a bad opponent for today. Should I go for a second match? I don't think it matters too much, so... Yeah, let's just go for the end screen. I'm sorry we didn't win more duels, but we really had a mismatched sort of opponent. If this was more straightforward, definitely would have had an easier time. I think that's good enough right there. Yes, hello again, everybody. Ojama's in GOAT format. Against certain opponents, this deck is certainly a really good one. You know, if my opponent needs to summon lots of monsters in order to do what they want to do, this deck can be really troublesome for them, you know, because we can get rid of the monster zones and stuff, and, well, there's some spell trap removal in the game. We have enough copies of Solemn Judgment to stop a lot of it, so it's one of those scenarios where, you know, we've had our deck and our strategy, and the strategy was working just fine. It's just my opponent was playing a strategy that kind of countered ours today. You know, because I didn't have any cards to force my opponent to discard cards or anything, which I guess we could have put in the Delinquent Duo card, which may have been a smart thing, but, you know, Memphis, I guess, messed up today, so that's, you know, unfortunate, but it's what it is. So we got to show off the Ojamas, what they wanted to do today. We did lock out the opponent's zones and things. Well, it didn't work out in the end of the duel. It really could have gone any way, depending on, you know, what my opponent drew and at what time. If Exodia's last piece had been on the bottom of the deck, there was always that potential of us coming back. It just didn't happen, unfortunately. So, I hope everyone enjoyed today's deck regardless. Thanks for joining us for the GOAT format week. I had a lot of fun, even though I didn't have any decks go undefeated or anything. I had a good time playing some GOAT format with everybody. So, thank you for joining us. I gotta go for today, and I'll see you guys again one more time before the end of the 100 days, which ends in 12 more days, which is kind of scary to think about. But yeah, it's coming to an end soon, everybody. So thanks for joining us for GOAT format week. Comment below whether you liked GOAT format week, if you liked this deck, and you know how you're feeling today and stuff. So here's the deck profile for anyone who wants to take a look at Ojamas in the GOAT format. Take it out, have a good time with it. So for the main deck, we have 2 copies of each of the original Ojamas. I'd have 2 of each because they're just enough in the deck to make them matter. Not too many to be too many, you know. We have 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier for late game and destroying monsters and things. We have Jinzo to stop my opponent from playing a lot of trap cards that they might want to play, just in case. We have our 2 Chaos Sorcerers, which again is here to, you know, remove my opponent's monsters from play and do some damage, things like that. We have things like the Soul of Purity and Light, which can be summoned by removing 2 light monsters in the graveyard. And all my opponent's monsters do lose attack during their battle phase, so it's an interesting monster. We have 2 copies of Freed the Brave Wanderer, who can destroy monsters that are stronger than himself. 2 copies of Rescue Cat, which can be attributed to summon out 2 beast monsters from the deck. 2 copies of the King of the Swamp to search out polymerization. We have Mucus Yoke, which was the card I was really hoping for in that last duel, because it can attack directly, and every time it does battle damage, which, yeah, it doesn't do damage because it has to have attack. Okay, Memphis. Maybe you should have put something a little bit different in the deck, Memphis. What can attack directly here? Yeah, there's monsters that can attack directly that are probably better. So maybe do this monster instead. Servant of Catoblepass. I don't know what Memphis was thinking with this card. Clearly not the right card. But yeah, we have the Servant of Catabolism instead, because it can just attack the opponent directly if you happen to need it. It also gets around things like level limit and things of that nature. 3 copies of Cyberstein. in order to summon our fusion monsters, which I've added some more of my own choosing, because I don't know why Memphis only had the Ojama Kings. We clearly needed other cards. We have 1 copy of Magician of Faith to recover our spells after we use them. 2 copies of Ojama Delta Hurricane, same idea. Enough till we see it more often than not, and not too many that we, have too many. But if you have all 3 Ojamas on the field, this will destroy all your opponent's cards, so that's pretty cool. We have a Polymerization Diffusion summon, 2 creature swaps if I just need to give my opponent an Ojama so I can destroy them with bigger monsters. We have Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity. The 1 reinforcement probably could have been Duo. I'm just saying, Memphis. What were you thinking with this one? But regardless, we have a Reinforcement of Army to get freed. We have Mystic Space Typhoon to destroy back row cards. 3 copies of Ground Collapse to get rid of my opponent's monster zones. 1 copy of Snatch Steal to again steal my opponent's cards. We have Return from the Different Dimensions. See, if we banish enough Ojamas, we can use this to revive 1 of each and then use our Hurricane or Fusion or whatever we need to do. So that's cool. Human Wave Tactics is a card that we use on rare occasion. Basically, if my monsters get destroyed, I can summon out a different Ojama. So it's good just to keep monsters rotating. And 3 copies of Solemn Judgment to stop back row cards. For the extra deck, we do have the 3 copies of Ojama King because it's an Ojama deck. But since we're playing Cyberstein, we have a lot of the generic sort of fusions that you see. Things like Restrict to steal monsters and have attack power. Dragoness is here. My opponent's playing Level Limit, Gravity Bind, things of that nature. There's Reaper of the Nightmare, which can get rid of the cards in my opponent's hand, which, yeah, that could have been useful. We have Dark Vault of the Terrible to negate spells. Fiend Skull Dragon, who negates traps that target him and negates flip monsters. Ryu Senji can negate trap cards. Elemental Flame Mingman can deal burn damage to the opponent. We have Dark Blade, who can banish my opponent's monsters. Last Warrior, who stops my opponent from summoning cards. We have Gatling Dragon, who can destroy cards, well, monsters only, but it's still something. And then we have Master of Arms, who's one of the bigger fusions you can summon. I think he's the biggest fusion in GOAT format. Yeah, he's the biggest fusion you can summon out. So if you just want a lot of damage, there's this monster. As for the side deck, there's more copies of Soul of Purity of Light if you'd like to. Just to keep banishing those light monsters to have a big monster on the field. Works good with Metamorphosis as well to go for an Ojama King. There's Magic Merchant, which can excavate cards for any spell trap and then get it to your hand, so that's pretty useful. Things like Styles and Energy, if you do go for a lot of the Ojamas on the field, especially after Ojama Delta Hurricane, this can make them bigger. There's also generic things like Heavy Storm, another Polymerization. Metamorphosis can make any level 6 monster into Ojama King. The Shield and Sword, if you want to make Ojama King have a big attack for a turn. So if you finish the lockdown of their board and you want to make this 3000, and maybe if you had Jinzo on the field at the same time to stop, you stop Mirror Force and stuff, that's pretty cool. There's things like Fiend Skull Dragon. Oh wait, I went to Fiend Skull Dragon already. What was I talking? Yeah, here we go. More Lightning Vortex, get rid of my opponent's face-up monsters. The Last Will is a card if my monster gets destroyed in battle in a turn. If you're playing things like Shining Angel or maybe Giant Rat or something to get out the Ojamas, this will revive the monster that gets destroyed. Let's see, summons a monster with a 1500 or less attack from the deck. So basically, you go from one rat into another rat, and then you're just gonna get, a bunch of Ojamas on the field, basically. We have Boboku at 2, in case we don't want our monsters getting destroyed. We have another return if you feel like you need another return over the Human Wave Tactics would be good. And then, of course, the generic trap cards of Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute and Ring of Destruction. So, that was our Ojama deck, everybody. I'm sorry that Memphis made some mistakes with this one, but, I guess I should have taken control of what cards were in today's deck. The next time I duel, I'm going to make sure that I have a say in the cards that are in the deck, because I don't know what Mucus Yoke was doing in here. But regardless, thank you everyone for joining us for GOAT Format Week. I hope to see you guys again with my next episode. I don't know when it'll be yet, but that'll be fun, I think. So I'll see you guys again next time. Tomorrow is the 89th day. Regular Memphis will be back, and he's playing in a Royay deck. So hopefully he doesn't put the wrong cards in that one too. So I'll see you guys again soon. Spooky Memphis signing out, and until next time, everyone have a good day and take care.